We're back here with Mike from Footprinting, and Mike, we're talking about, there's always the, designing, working on the computer, getting it, but then you've got to deliver the design to the printer, to you. And it has to be, everything's got to be formatted correctly so that you guys can do the best job possible. Yeah. What are the 3 most common errors when prepping the artwork to come to you guys?
Number 1 would definitely be bleeds. Everything wants something designed lately that has something that goes to the edge, whether it be a picture or a design or some background color, or even a big background picture, that's screened back. And we need bleeds because when we go to cut a sheet of paper, we're going to be cutting your whole job. Usually, if it's a smaller job or if it's a bigger job, we're still going to be cutting a lot of sheets at the same time. And when that knife comes down, even though it's holding at 3,000 pounds of pressure and it comes down, it could move ever so slightly.
Just a little
64th, of an inch.
And if there is an image there, you're going to see the white from paper.
Yeah,
right?
And that's why we like that 1/8 of an inch that extends past where the cut line is.
That's right. Okay.
So that there's even if we're just slightly off, which no one's going to notice with the final product, but then you won't have that white line to make it look cheaper. So bleeds are the first and foremost thing that people do not send us in files, and that we either have to recreate, which we can for you, or we'll just have to need new files depending on the complexity of what's going off that edge of the sheet.
So 1, bleeds. What's the next?
Number 2 is definitely low-res images / art. Yeah. Everybody thinks they can pull something off the internet or pictures off the internet and just throw it in something.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, and it's gonna print beautifully. Internet, unfortunately, is 1 RGB and B 72 DPI, and you really want all your pictures to be 300 DPI minimum. So make sure your pictures are good quality. Make sure they're not too small, and then also make sure that they're linking properly in your art files before you're exporting them, so that they don't look like crap. You could have really nice pictures, but if you don't link them properly, at least in InDesign before you export, it's just going to be a low-res placeholder of that image, and it's not going to be the full resolution of the image that you have saved somewhere else there. So that's definitely number 2, whether it's the pictures or the whole overall art potentially is designed in Photoshop with 72 DPI, 8.5 by 11, and it's like, then all your little type that's in there is just bit mapped and looks like crap.
Yeah, it looks all chunky and the size, nothing smooth.
Yeah, so those are 2 of the biggest issues that we have. The other issues are fonts. When you're using fonts, you always want to use that version. So Helvetica regular or Helvetica bold or Helvetica italic. You don't want to use...
And to clarify, you're saying, so don't just use Helvetica regular and then I bold it, I hit the bold.
Yeah, you don't want to do that because for a lot of reasons, but also before you're exporting or even when you're exporting out of the program, a lot of times if you're doing something like that or even adding an outline to make it big, a font bigger or look more bold, when you go to outline that font so that it's easier for printing, so that it doesn't have to look for a font to relink, that could make the font look different. For really thin fonts, it could make it skinnier, or if you've added an outline on a skinny font, it's still going to bring it back in and it's not going to look as how you intended it to or how it looked like when you designed it in the program. So those are the 3 biggest problems that we run into, or the 3 biggest. Someone will be like, oh, well, why didn't this print this way or that way?
So let me see if I learned anything. Let me see if I go. So bleed. So make sure you got enough images going beyond the size of your piece. Okay, we had image and resolution. First of all, 300 DPI, but also make sure it's linked properly because that could mess it up. And then with fonts, basically use the font. Don't be adding into hitting bold and adding things because there could be problems. Just use the font that's there and make sure that's in there. Is that? Do I pass at least this kind of? All right. Okay, good. All right. I'm still not a good designer. That's a whole other thing. But hey, if you are, remember this. And if you're not designing yourself, remember these guys have designers. So no matter what project you're working for, whether it's brochures, whether it's mailers, no matter what, these guys can help you do that too. Footprinting. you guys pretty much do it all. And by the way, really nice printing job too. when the job, you're going to get a wonderful product. So make sure to check them out at footprinting.com. Check them out right now. Give Mike a call. Get them on your project.